Hello, mothers. Well, both parents, but usually I think the mothers are the ones who are overseeing the work that your students are doing from HLA. I wanted to give a brief introduction to some of the things that I'm doing this year in Omnibus with the literature, the history, and the assignment sheets. So first of all, I wanted to say with Omnibus in the literature portion especially, that I'm not using the Omnibus book at all. I'm going to I'm allowing the students to choose their own book from a short list of novels, and most of your students have already sent me their choices and I've already given them back. Yes, you can read that one, or no, you have to pick another one. The reason for that is I'm only allowing 2 students to read the same book. But I wanted to let you know that because I'm not following Omnibus and I'm allowing them to read their own book during this project, I am producing more handouts. So I have 6 handouts that I've already loaded on to ClassReach that need to be printed and brought to the first day of class. So one of them, the longest, is 7 pages long. That's the one that is the book report file folder instructions. You don't have to print the last page. It's very color heavy. It's just something that I wanted the students to see an example of what's called mini books. That's a part of this project. But everything else needs to be printed and brought to class. So I wanted to let you know that that's what's going on. I tried very hard to give lots of good instructions on how this project's going to be handled for you as well as your students. These documents and instructions I'll be using in class, but I would love for you to please read over them so that you know what I'm doing with the students for this project. It's going to last 3 weeks long, so they're reading a novel, and at the same time they are working on, some of you may have done this, especially you homeschoolers, called a lap book. And they'll be working on this lap book, which brings in different portions of information in a literary format from their novel that they're reading. So what I've done on the assignment sheet is on every day I'm trying to let your student know what they need to bring to class. If you could please help them with this. Sometimes students say, I didn't know, or I didn't see it. And that would be such a blessing and great help to the whole class when everybody is ready and prepared. And again, to be ready for the first day this quarter is a lot of handouts. It's very handout heavy, I guess. So anyhow, at the beginning I put what you need to bring to class, and then I try to give you an idea of what we're doing in class. I try to be as excuse me, I got distracted with a little message. I try to be as descriptive as I can be, but I do have that limited amount of space. So what I've started trying to do is, if you can download my assignment sheets in its Excel fashion, excuse me, what I've done is I am including links, so you can actually click on a link that's in the portion that has what we're doing in class, and a lot of those will link you into another sheet on my assignment sheet that will give you further information about what that activity is we're doing in class. This would be very helpful for you if you don't understand what I'm doing, and or your child is sick and can't make it to class that day. Hopefully you could carry some of the burden to help your child to catch up later, whether it's a planned or unplanned excuse or absence that day. So that's what the format is going down, and I'll try to list 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. When our first day back to school, we have 5 activities we're working on while we're in class. But if you go across, you notice that I have a color coding system, and basically I'm trying to use 3 colors. Right now I have a light blue, and that's mostly housekeeping type of activities. For instance, one of them is find a manila folder to use for your project. And so that's just a housekeeping item. And all of those and what to bring, I try to keep those in a light blue. And then I have yellow is the history portion of the class, and then the lavender or lilac, whatever, is for the literature portion. And so hopefully, maybe I did that more for my benefit than anyone else's, but I hope that it can help you see a little bit more organization. If you do have suggestions on what works best in this assignment sheet, please let me know. I've had some parents give me some suggestions already, and I do read what you have to say, and based on all the information and feedback that I get, I try to do what's best for the group. So that's the assignment sheet. I do want to address the history, and with our history, we're not following Omnibus this quarter also. What I wanted to do is take our timeline that the students have been learning all these timeline titles, and this semester I wanted to take that excuse me, that memory work that they have done and put some more flesh, meat, and bone on their bones of the skeleton work they've done in their memorization. So basically, I'm having them just put together a skeleton of a timeline, want them to do some embellishments or a little bit of artistic work around it. And then I'm going to start assigning projects that they will do. And when they're working on those projects, all students will be responsible to take notes when they hear other students present their projects. And once they have done that, we'll have a completed timeline, and they can look back at a very high level what history that we have covered over the semester. So I love this kind of work because I think it's a big bang for the buck. They'll get to hear all these different presentations, and then once they make their notes and we look at it and review it all together, they can look at what has happened, and then of course they'll be the experts on one portion because that'll be what they present as their own individual project. I hope that made a little bit of sense. I think that will become more clear. All they're doing right now is making the skeleton timeline this week, and then their first week, and then the following week is when we're going to start breaking down the timeline by time periods, and they'll do some projects for that, and then we'll start breaking down the timeline by specific timeline titles or events or people. So again, I can talk more about that as we get into it a little bit more. I hope this helps, and I really do appreciate all of you and what you do with your children. They're amazing and wonderful, and I love being with each one of them. I am asking for more attention, if you would, to the assignment sheets and the instructions, especially since we're not going to be using the omnibus, so that they can have some support at home, and that they can, I want y'all to know what they're doing, and please to be helping them be ready and prepared when they come to class, because that's just like I said earlier, a big blessing for all of us. And then of course that's going to be part of the grading that I do for this this quarter. I am going to put in a word I'll mention to the students as well. Late work will be more heavily graded this semester. I have to, as you can appreciate, start getting the students ready for high school. So I've been giving some grace periods. I did a little bit less of the grace time frame and or amounts that I penalize the students when they had late work. And that's going to be less this quarter and even less next quarter, so that they can learn that they've got to be ready because they'll be hitting the high school the year after. So enjoy your middle schooler this semester. Last hurrah, and then you'll have your first or another high schooler in your house after the summer. So Happy New Year to all of you. Please send me messages and emails with questions if I said something in this that could be better explained. Thank you so much, and I appreciate you. Bye.